Well, hi everyone, and greetings from Northern Michigan. This is Bob the Science Guy. Today we're going to look at my favorite subject, and that is Flerf Daddies. Generally, whenever I talk to a flat earther in one of the online discussion panels or the forums, I can generally tell who their Flerf Daddy is. If they start trying to talk about scientific method, I know that it's quantum eraser. If people want to start talking about the impossibility of coming up with R or gas pressure next to a vacuum, or the apparent versus the geometric horizon, I know that Nathan Oakley is their Flerf Daddy. Well, today we're going to have a chat with Ranty, formerly Ranty Flat Earth, and he was an insider in this community. Let's go see what he has to say about the Flerf Daddies. So cue up the music and let's go.
Well, I guess we'll find out over the next week or so. So,
What are you going to look for to tell you?
Well, I had believed up to now that he was a genuine flat earther, but the way he's behaved since this, since I came out on Conspiracy Cat's video with this proof of drop, and the amount of videos that he's put out to try and bury this information is telling me that he's doing it to protect his income rather than face, if he was a truth seeker, he would be addressing the truth in this image and trying to talk about it in a logical way. A bit like when Brian came on to debate me, he tried to come in and debate me on it, and it didn't fare well for him, unfortunately. But I think Nathan understands that point too. And if he was a genuine truth seeker doing it for his fans and his audience, he would have to come clean and say, look, okay, they've got a white swan. If they want to take it as a white swan, let them have it, right? But we've got the black swan, and move on. Just put it down as like a one-off, an anomaly. At least accept it for what it is. But he won't do that. He won't concede it, and that's very telling to me.
Do you think that's typical amongst many of these so-called leaders of the flat Earth? The big names, like for example, Quantum Eraser and his very, very particular, shall we say, definition of the scientific method. Is that designed to protect science, or is that designed to deny the facts of science? I mean, is he trying to exclude evidence, or is he trying to get quality evidence?
No, he's excluding evidence, and I had a massive fallout with him. It was very public. It was on. In fact, that was when I actually left the Flat Earth debates and set up my own show. Was because of Quantum Eraser and his cherry picking and Nathan White knighting for him. And it was a very raw episode that was released. Obviously, it was done live, but I think the video's still out there. And there's a good 30 minutes or so of me ranting at both of them, telling them that they're wrong. They shouldn't be doing what they're doing, etc., etc., etc. They need to change the ways. And yeah, that was me just calling them out for that specific reason. So Quantum Eraser is definitely a cherry picker, and he is willfully ignoring other evidence.
Now, once again, this is a very interesting point that he's bringing up. Quantum Eraser is trying desperately to find a way to exclude evidence that invalidates his flat Earth narrative. That's been rather obvious for quite some time. Now, Ranty is trying to dissociate himself from that, although, of course, he did it to his own fair share. But Quantum Eraser and Nathan Oakley and the Flat Earth debate team, that's their bread and butter, denying evidence and trying to do it for reasons. So let's go ahead and continue and hear what he has to say. I've often said that there are two types of people in the flat Earth. There are the people that sell t-shirts and the people that buy t-shirts. I think that there are people like Oakley and Quantum Eraser that are using this for their own means. Do you think that there are people out there that actually truly believe that the Earth is flat and this evidence is all somehow manufactured, like your evidence, for example? Do you think that there are people out there, however wrongly, that actually believe that that's fake evidence?
Yeah, I believe that there's a whole bunch of people out there that are genuinely 100% true flat earthers, and I don't think whatever you say to them that they will come back from that. And as for the people that are putting content out there, it's hard to pick one that I could say is absolute. Well, I am going to pick one person who I actually do think is a true, genuine flat earther and is trying to prove it in any way possible, even though he is just screwing it up royally, and that's Bob Nadell. I genuinely believe that he 1000% believes the earth is flat and that he's going to be the man to prove it. I genuinely believe that. I think he's the only person that I can look at in the whole community and say he is the one person that I could say is the most genuine, truthful, well, not truthful, but the most genuine believer of a flat earth.
Now, most of us know the name Bob Nadell. Bob Nadell is from a large flat earth YouTube channel called Globebusters. And several years ago, he took part in a documentary that was called Beyond the Curve. And famously, in that documentary, he related the story where he and his buddies got together and purchased a $20,000 laser ring gyro to test for the rotation of the Earth. Prior to the test, he made it very clear that if the Earth was rotating, they would pick up a 15 degree per hour drift. Well, surprisingly, guess what happened?
But what we found is when we turned on that gyroscope, we found that we were picking up a drift, a 15 degree per hour drift.
Thanks, Bob. But more importantly, Bob knew that this was devastating to the flat Earth, and he tried to conspire with the producers to suppress this evidence. Unfortunately, he was mic'd at the time, and they picked it all up on audio. And they also had video of him saying it. So this goes to another thing that you see in flat Earth content creators. And that is not only deliberately misrepresenting evidence, but on some occasions, even falsifying evidence. I've caught a number of flat Earth creators trying to falsify evidence to support their narrative. Now, next week, we're going to have one on the famous Black Swan video, where an individual, the one that actually started the Black Swan, manipulated a photograph to try and support his flat Earth narrative. We'll have a look at that later on next week, though. So let's get back to the Ranty interview. The thing that I got out of dealing with flat earthers is how bad science education is nowadays. Very limited understanding of physics, for example. I mean, even simple things like, why does your phone flip from portrait to landscape when you move it? They just don't have any comprehension of the fact that there's a MEMS chip in there that has a little mass on it, and whatever way the gravity moves the mass, that tells the phone which way is up. You could show it to them, and they still don't seem to get it. Do you think you're convincing people of the flat Earth by putting out flat Earth videos? Do you think that's their goal? Do you think they're succeeding at it?
I think there was a time when I first started doing this, it was all very new to me. And this idea of this research looking into, is the Earth flat, etc. It really appealed to me. And the way I went about doing the research and getting down and dirty and publishing the videos, etc. A lot of people liked that because it was somebody going out there and working to try and prove something. So for me, I think a lot of my research, well, I don't know why, but my location seems to show a lot of shore-to-shore observations. So,
well, there's a guy taking pictures there with a P900 all the time, and he's just flooding the internet with them.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was doing, and I was like, I think at that time it was very exciting because for me, I was just going down and I was seeing all these shore-to-shore observations, going on Nathan Oakley's, showing it on there. At the time, he was only getting 40 live people in his stream. Where, through that whole period, I could see his numbers growing. and he was then going up to over 200 live viewers, 250 live viewers. And the channel really took off when I joined the Flat Earth debate team with this image, because people tuned in to listen to it, to see this photography. So I did probably help reaffirm the Flat Earth to a lot of people.
Now, when Ranty was a flat earther, he was actually legend in the debunking community, because he would go out and take all of these photos with his P900 that clearly showed evidence of curvature of the Earth. We considered him one of the best advocates of the globe out there. And I think Ranty said something very profound in this last segment, and that is that his work helped to reaffirm people that were in the flat Earth. It wasn't necessarily bringing new people into the fold, but it was reaffirming and enabling the opinions of people that thought the Earth was flat. Because when he presented his photographs, he called them flat Earth proofs. That's what they wanted to hear. They never looked at the photographs. All they did was said, look, here's a photograph. It's a flat Earth proof. It busts the globe. It debunks the globe. That's good enough for us. Because really all you need to do is make the assertion, and that's really all we want to hear. We want to hear that our opinions are validated. So he did indeed help reaffirm people in the flat Earth. I don't think he brought many new people to the flat Earth, though. I don't think flat Earth videos convince thinking adults that the Earth is flat. You have to have somebody that already has a conspiratorial mindset and already thinks the Earth is flat, and then the videos are great for them. Well, let me ask you a question then. You said something very interesting a moment ago. You were intrigued by the flat Earth. What intrigued you about the flat Earth? Now, we understand our world very well. We understand navigation, the solar system. We've traveled in space. We've got weather satellites that take pictures of the Earth every day. What intrigued you about the possibility that maybe that wasn't right? And why did you think that was a possibility?
Well, I didn't. That's the thing. It was I was obviously found YouTube rather late in its YouTube existence, right? Mm-hmm. And when I found it, and then I started getting recommendations for different things. So first it would be about 9/11 or things like that. So I'd watch videos on 9/11 and I was like, oh, wow, this is really interesting. And then another video would pop up something to do with chemtrails, or another video would pop up about something else and something else. And a lot of it was conspiracy minded. So the algorithm would keep punting conspiracy theories to me in the searches and or recommendations. And every now and again, I would get an image that would pop up saying, hey, click me because I'm a flat Earth video. And I would laugh at it and I'd be like, there's no way I'm clicking that. That's the most retarded thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm not going to click on a flat Earthers video. What sort of idiot do you think I am? And I didn't. And this went on for about a year, maybe more. And it just seemed then that I was getting bored of all the other conspiracies. I was watching as many videos as I could. And then the last thing to actually watch was Flat Earth. And I think just to laugh at them, I put it on. And I don't know which video it was or what have you, but I watched, I don't know, just a handful of videos. And I think at some point in each one of those videos, they had someone with a camera down at the beach filming something that was far away that you shouldn't be able to see on a globe. And I thought that's really interesting. I don't know what it was, but that just really interested me. And because I'm right next to the sea, and I know that there's some mountains over there, and I know that there's Barrow Furnace over there, I just thought, do you know what? I'm going to go and see that. I'm just going to, I don't know, it just intrigued me, that idea that you could just go out and just see a lot further than you should on the globe. And I thought, well, I don't know what it was. Something inside of me just said, get a camera and go and do it. And I did. Well,
let's just be honest with each other. Who gets into flat Earth? Now, why would a normal, reasonably intelligent human being in the 21st century, 50 years after the moon landings, while we have rovers on Mars and every square inch of the Earth is mapped, why would somebody even consider the idea of flat Earth? On its face, it's absurd. However, where's the appeal? Okay, You have the intelligent design young Earth creationists that have a biblical version of humanity and evolution and the planet Earth. This kind of falls into their realm because they can try and read the Bible and come up with justification that the Bible somehow says the Earth is flat. It appeals to their desire to have some sort of an intelligent creator. None of this can possibly be natural. Somebody, a greater being, had to intelligently design it. That, again, reinforces their belief. But I think something that Ranty picked up on was very good. And that is that people that fall into conspiracies like Flat Earth tend to fall into other conspiracies as well. 9/11, anti-vax, moon landing deniers, space is fake, young Earth creationism, dinosaurs and men lived at the same time. These are all things that the mainstream doesn't believe in, but they have special knowledge of. And the last section that Ranty put out was that he could go out and take these pictures and people would want to see pictures. It would reaffirm his beliefs. It would bring a little bit of fame to him. And that is the appeal of a conspiracy. And that is why people get into Flat Earth. They don't think the Earth is flat any more than anybody else does. What they think is that they are hiding the true shape of the Earth. And by hiding the true shape of Earth, they're hiding God. So let's finish up this interview and see what else he has to say.
And then, to be honest, it was Sleeping Warrior that dragged me into the whole community. I mean, the chances are that I would have put half a dozen videos out of me going down to the beach, seeing this, seeing that, seeing the other, and then got bored of it and gone home and then thought of something else to watch and never really picked up the camera again. That would have probably been what would have happened. But after the first video went out, Sleepy Dipshit got in touch with me. I actually put a video out with my name in the title. So obviously I got recommended that. And I'm like, what's this guy doing here? And he said, I have a follower or something like that. And I'm like, what's this guy talking about? Because I didn't know at the time there was a community, and I didn't know at the time that Sleeping Warrior was having a massive fallout with like Sean Hufford, Red's Rhetoric, and Daz the cameraman, and it was all to do with Blackpool Tower and filming, Blackpool. And because I'd put Blackpool and Blackpool Tower in a video about Flat Earth, he thought I was doing a troll video about him. So he did a live stream and he said, oh, do I have a follower or something like that? And then he's halfway through it and he says, oh, actually, seems like there's a guy there, there's a genuine Flat Earther. And he reached out to me and he wanted to talk to me. So, I responded back to him. Worst mistake ever. And that's how I actually got brought into the community, because once I had that interaction with him, if you know anything about Tony, he's nothing but determined. He will message you every single hour of every day, and that's what was happening.
He always struck me as just being an interesting person, trying to claim that his cell phone is, necessary equipment, so he didn't need a carriage license and things like that. Saying that I should be shot, saying that, basically put jihad out on Bob the Science Guy. Todd Grande has done some very good videos on conspiratorial thinking and flat earthers in particular. He is a psychologist over on the East Coast of the U.S. And, I don't know if you've ever had a look at any of his videos. You might want to look into it to gain some insight and understanding to what's going on to you right now. Have you received any threats or anything?
Oh, yeah. You do.
All right. When you have a theater major who doesn't know much about science that wants to get involved in a movement like this, he has to reach into what he's familiar with. And one thing the theater majors are familiar with is storytelling. Now, there is a plot line that is very, very well known to anybody that is a writer or an actor or in that entertainment type of business. And that is called the hero's journey. Now, the hero's journey is broken up into 3 sections. The first is the ordinary world. You have a relatively normal person like Ranty who's destined for greatness. But he wants to live his normal life. He kind of pines for adventure, but wants the stability of his normal life, his friends, his family, his job. And then something happens that is a call to action. But people are holding him back. His family's telling him not to do it. Don't join the rebellion, Luke. Stay here on the moisture farm with your aunt and I. However, something happens to change all of that. And it generally occurs when you meet a mentor that will guide you through the threshold into the supernatural world, which is Act 2. And then in the final act, what you do is you go back to your own world, the ordinary world, a changed person. And then what you do is you bring the new power or the jewel back to the ordinary world and improve it. So that's the classic hero's journey. I'm sure that you can see many of those elements in the flat earth. The potential flat earther is the hero. There's a mentor, be it Eric Dubay or Sleeping Warrior or Quantum Eraser, that guides you through and makes you question things and overcome the resistance of your friends and family. Then you cross the threshold and they've got you. Unfortunately, you never really go back to the normal world from there. So, this is Bob the Science Guy signing out from Northern Michigan. Tomorrow, what we're going to go over is what, by extension, did Ranty learn from this photograph of Blackpool, England? Is the ISS real? Is space real? Is the atmosphere next to the vacuum of space? Is the Earth round? Does it rotate? So, we'll answer those and other questions, and then we're going to introduce the panel. Now, Friday is going to be the panel talking to Ranty, so I think you'll enjoy that as well. So make sure you hit that little like and subscribe button down there. Don't miss any of these episodes, and we'll be finished soon on Friday. Then we'll be back to our normal schedule. Take care, guys. Stay well.
Mama, please make them hear me, or I can't